rash?
Rash. Oh, man. It's getting bigger. It's itching. It's it's good. The comedy rash. I love it. It's been growing for a year and a half now.
You're an internationally known comedian.
Ben Gibson on the scene. I know, I'm a culture guy.
We were just talking about how, like, we're kind of like practical, goal-oriented type people, and how sometimes just being like a total weirdo can be so much better than... Where do you see yourself fitting into all that? Like, are you...
I'm probably an everyman comic. Everybody loves to see me. Everybody likes to get a piece of Ben, I think. People line up outside the door, taking a number, waiting in line to get a bite of what's going on. No, I think I've thought about it because whenever I feel like I bomb, I'll feel like bad, and then I'll have like a comic text me and be like, dude, I love seeing you go up on stage. I laugh every time. And hearing that from a comic, I think, is like the worst thing you can hear about your comedy.
You're a comics comic, I think.
Yeah, that's not good.
We just enjoy...
That means I'm going nowhere.
If you go long enough, I think you can go get Cody, like, eventually.
Yeah, I'm the Cody Hughes of Asheville. It's good. Yeah. I'm the Cody Hughes of Asheville, the Andrew Dice Clay of the world. Tell it how it is.
Yeah.
Man.
You want a seltzer?
Yeah, I would love one.
You want anything else to drink?
I'm like over-caffeinated.
When you said seltzer earlier, I thought you meant alcoholic. I was like,
yeah, I thought there was a little. I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, man, no.
But
Ryan does not drink.
Yeah.
Right?
I do not drink.
You do not drink.
I forgot that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But
Ryan's got a wife, kids, does stand up, doesn't drink. Ryan, how do you wake up in the morning?
Just for pretty uneventful, really. Yeah,
uneventful.
There's nothing that happens that's funny. I just kind of get up and.
Your answer is more like, why do I wake up in the morning?
Why do you wake up in the morning? Don't take any medicine to remedy the day. Just,
nope.
Man, just raw dogging it. That sucks. That's tough.
How do you wake up in the morning?
Usually not in the morning. Usually showering off the night before. No, I've been waking up early recently. I'm trying to wake up at 8, but it's weird because I'm, back at home with my parents, and so like,
where are they?
They're in Charlotte.
Okay, you're both in Charlotte.
Both in Charlotte.
I thought that was true. I was like, are these? You guys didn't drive together.
No,
you're both from Charlotte.
No.
Now.
No, yeah. Corey doesn't like me that much, so I had to make my way up here. Obviously,
I would have offered, but I have work stuff to do tonight.
But you didn't offer, so there was no offer on the table.
You wouldn't have gotten home.
There's never been an offer, really. I don't think.
I booked you on my show last month.
Oh, and I appreciate it so much.
There was an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Who's more accepted in the Charlotte scene? Do they love your weirdness as much as we do?
They love me. I'm loved everywhere. I am the.
Do they? They love
I'm the crown jewel that is the Queen City.
I thought maybe it was us that like you'd be like, oh, I gotta stay in Asheville.
No, I've heard you talk a lot of smack. I gotta be honest. I was listening to the Allison and James episode, and I just love hearing you say like, yeah, I like Ben, but I don't. But I can't see him. I can't see him being liked everywhere he goes. So, yeah, I didn't appreciate that.
I think it's better. I think I'm kind of more medium, and I think it's better to be like not for everyone and be kind of a polarizing figure. I think that's better.
Yeah,
but maybe the grass is just greener.
I don't.
Better for comedy, maybe not.
Better.
For
no, I think it is better for
large,
comedy.
But
life at large. Yeah, I'm living it up. Yeah, people, I guess, because I do have like comics really like me, and then I don't know if any comics hate me yet in Charlotte. I haven't been around long enough for that to happen. But people usually have like what I get is people have very like stark feelings about me. Like they either love me or they hate me.
That's exactly what I said you said you were offended by. You're saying the exact same thing.
I guess you're right. I guess I'm a liar.
It is different when you hear somebody else saying it like about you and you're not there. I think
I just had to say it for it to sound right. But yeah, no, nobody. Everybody has a hard feeling. Everybody gets nobody's soft around Ben. So I'm like Omar on The Wire. Everybody's like, here comes Ben, get hard, and then they all run inside because I'm coming and I'm gonna blow it up. All right, now you go.
What was do I feel accepted in that community yet? Is that what the basis of your question?
Yeah.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
Like I I knew a few people before I moved over there. So when I got over there, I was like, hey, I'm here now. And like hitting spots as often as I can. I feel like I've shown by doing the work that I'm like, I care and I have a passion for it. And to my knowledge, don't have anyone that's like, hey, that guy sucks behind my back or anything like that.
Yeah.
Ben?
I usually say it to your face, I think. So
You do.
there's no hidden animosity
I think
there.
we probably all have someone that says that.
It's all out in the open. You know, I tell it how it is. Bit of a truth teller. The Andrew Dice Clay of Charlotte.
One of my favorite things you do at shows is right before I'm about to go up, you'll just be like, hey, man, you're going to do great. Don't worry about it, in this super sarcastic manner. And I did that to you like 2 weeks ago at Two Buck. And and you flubbed the line, and I came up to you afterwards. I'm like, hey, man.
Flubbed the line.
You messed that one up, buddy. But you did a different one that worked out great. And then you did one that you asked us about, and it didn't work, and you did it the way you said you were not going to do it. And then you're like, yeah, that didn't work. You guys told me.
It wasn't a good bit, I don't think. It's kind of a hack. The bit was like, I think gambling's the only addiction that you could probably, like, that if you stick with it can pay off. Like, that's the whole idea behind the bit. But it's kind of like
I don't think it's true though. I think
if you stick, it's the only one where
I think you just lose everything.
Yeah, but there's a chance that you can prove everyone wrong. And that's what's so enticing. See, there's a chance.
But if you're truly addicted, then after that you go, well, now I could probably double this.
Exactly. Keep it going.
All right, Uncut Gems.
The punchline's like you have a gambling addiction, and there's some hidden.
Here's the thing:
punchline.
there is no punchline. That's why the bit doesn't work. It's bad. That's why it's bad.
He asked two of us, and he like ran through it before the mic, and then disregarded all of that and did what he said to begin with, and it didn't work. He's like, "Yeah."
Well, I asked you and Hank, so I was like, "This is going to be bad advice either way."
Yeah, that's 75% advice.
Yeah, so I just went up with the the Trader Joe's brand of Ben, and it didn't work out.
How do you guys handle bombing? What's it like? You just like, oh, it happens, or you cry? Or
the way I see it is I record audio of every set, so at the very least I can listen back and see what sentences I need to tighten up. So I take it analytically as opposed to getting in my feelings about it, because it's going to happen when you try new material and you take risks.
Yeah, is it ever so bad that you have to stop listening back because it's so cringe?
Every once in a while there'll be one where I'm like, I'm not even going to listen to that. I need to delete it immediately.
Yeah.
But that's probably every 6-8 weeks. If I get a real wild idea and I go for it, I shouldn't have gone for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like hearing myself do this is going to make me quit, or
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that way about some of my sets sometimes. If it's so bad I can't listen back to it. It's too discouraging.
I had one over in Charlotte, and it was like the last minute of my set, and I'm trying to like segue one thing into another that didn't really work. I was just trying to wedge it in, and an audience member just goes, "What are we talking about here, man?"
That's great.
What are we talking about here, man?
Have you tried saying that on stage, doing what you just did, where you like say it that way?
No.
I think that there's something there.
Yeah, there could be.
Like just a funny heckle moment, people.
That's why you have to talk over your laughs, so there's no room for people to yell.
Step on every punch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You seem a little more rant style. You just like came in the room and you're just ready. You seem like you could kind of
I really
always
just sprinted in. Yeah, I'm like slowing down.
But you seem like you could kind of always just be like, oh, is it Mike? I'll just keep saying crazy shit until my turn's up. Like,
yeah, I feel like this is going to be a real Flowers of Algernon podcast. It's for the book. We're in a library. It's a book reference.
It's about a mentally handicapped.
It's about a guy who is dumb, becomes smart, and then becomes dumb again. So this is going to have a real curve to it. I'm gonna fall off. I'm probably gonna crash towards the end of what's going on, but I feel like I'm starting to build back up.
What's your college degree in?
Shut up.
He asked me mine earlier. If you were here on time.
It's in creative writing and new media.
What's new media?
Yeah, it's the new media. Yeah.
TikTok?
Yeah, pretty much TikTok. Pretty much I'm going to be working for the Chinese government, and like hopefully, if things go right, I'll be working for the Chinese in like 5 years.
Yeah.
That's my main goal.
And we all will be in 7.
Yeah.
They're taking over.
That's right. I'm ahead of you. I'm new. The new media. All right.
I love the chemistry. You guys should start a podcast, I think.
I don't know if I want to be in a room with him that often. Most of these mics are like outdoor spaces or like. Yeah,
I'm like your Jeff Ross because I'm bald, and you're like the Dave Attell because you're sad and you wear a hat.
And I masturbate a lot.
The hell? My parents are gonna be watching this, man. You can't say masturbate.
Will they really?
Oh yeah, they will for sure.
They know.
Say whatever you want. Have fun with it. It's your head, not mine.
I told my mom about it, and she was like, They know what a podcast. I guess your parents are probably younger than mine. My parents are like 80. Just trying to explain what a podcast is confusing.
My parents are slightly younger than your parents. They're like in their 60s.
Okay, because mine see the short clips on Facebook, and they're like, "Oh, these are great." I'm like, "Well, there's a whole longer thing," and they're just like, "What? I don't have the podcast that you can see," and they're just like, "I don't."
They want to be supportive. Like they want it. Like they ask like all the time. It's like, "Hey, when can we see?" Your stand-up, when can we see a clip? When can we, like, listen to a voice memo or whatever? And I'm like, when it gets good. Because in the past, I've shown them voice clips. And they're like, oh, we're so excited to see it. What's going on? And I've showed it to them, like, oh. That's fun for you.
You've shown them voice clips?
I've shown, like on my phone.
On the phone, just like audio?
Yeah, audio,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you like play a set?
Yeah, I played it for
them,
yeah. And it's just like, I don't, like I bomb like once or twice a week if things go well. I don't need this. I don't need to bring my work home.
Agreed.
Yeah, but
how many nights do you usually try to go out?
I try to go out 3 times a week if I can. I would like it to be more, but it's been less. Like
are you doing like different? I feel like usually when I was seeing you here, you were kind of always doing different stuff each time, and that might be why like comics like that. I mean, are you kind of? Is it safe to say you kind of just do new stuff each week, or you kind of have stuff you're like we'll keep doing for months?
Yeah, I don't feel like I do as much new stuff anymore. I try to I feel like I have good premises and good bits now, so I'm to the point where it's like now I'm just trying to build off what I have, because most of my jokes are like not complete. Like even my good ones, I don't feel like they're really finished.
Yeah.
So every week I just try to add like a new tag to something, but once in a while I'll try to throw in like a new one.
And do you, by adding a new tag, do you like write ahead of time, or you just try to find it in the moment?
No, I write ahead of time.
Okay.
I go completely blank in the moment. I can't focus in. I would ask Corey, but Corey shows up to like once every 2 weeks. So, I mean, I don't know. From your viewpoint, do you think I try new jokes frequently, or?
If it's a 5-minute set, I feel like you do 2.5 minutes of new jokes, and then you hit like you round home with stuff that you feel more comfortable with.
Yeah,
which is a good way to approach a 5-minute set. Like maybe do something you're comfortable with. At least my philosophy: open up with like a one-liner or something short that I'm comfortable with, wedge the new stuff in the middle, and then try to bring it home with something I'm comfortable with. So I get this from Petey, but just get on base. You don't have to hit a home run. Just get on base.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good advice. I went through like most of this year trying to start with a new thing that just happened today, but they can lose confidence in you.
Yeah,
and then it's hard to get it back.
With my showcase I run, I'm putting together roughly a new 15 every month, like for the topic, because it's like a topical show, and that's been hard to build while I'm trying to work on my normal material and then have something half worthwhile to provide to the showcase show. So it's just it's a lot.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm getting like A+, but I'm giving like B+.
It's good. That must be hard, because even when I did your showcase, I didn't do any new material. I did one new joke, and then the rest of it was just like jokes I already had about parenting. Like I was like, because I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna write like all these new jokes about parenting. It's gonna be good. I'm gonna get relaxed, tell a story. I was like, oh, I got nothing, and so I just went up with parenting jokes I already had. And then I told one new joke, kind of pseudo about parenting. Most of it was pseudo about parenting because it had to be. Yeah, but yeah.
When you guys want to write jokes about parenting or about anything, like how does that? You like sit down with like pen and paper, and you like how does that? You just write like pages on the topic and then try to do jokes, or do you? What's the process trying to get the funny?
I don't work
written?
that hard. I usually just think of something funny, and then I'm like, oh, that could be an idea, and then I try to expand on that. And lately it's been, I guess it has been more it's usually stories or it's like quick little like hacky punchlines I think of that are like that could be fun to throw in. And unfortunately, most of my sets become like hacky punchlines, which I like to fill like in between actual jokes that I like. But now it just sounds like a bad 90s cruise comic when I'm up there, I feel like, most nights. So, I don't know. I've been trying to write new material, but it's like I haven't really tried that hard, I guess. Like, I haven't been trying hard enough. I could go harder. I could fixate on a topic or fixate on premises that I have a whole notes pad of premises that are like, these are funny, but I refuse to work on them. And I'm like, well, I just thought of a new Prince of Wales bit or whatever. You know, like something that it's going to make people be like, oh, it's funny that he's trying that. Instead of like, oh, that's a good joke.
My style is like, I'll get an idea, like I'll think of like a random core memory or something like that, and I'll put that down in my joke book. And then I'll go up on stage kind of with that idea and maybe a few punchlines that I've thought of there, listen back to the audio, tighten it up from there. So my style is kind of short form, but storytelling-ish. Like, so I'll do like a 1 minute topic and then I'll build that into like a 3 and then a 5 and build it on from there. But I'm never like usually sitting and writing word for word paragraph style until after I've gone up with it 3 times is comfortable. Like once I've gone up with it 3 times and I listen back to like the best chunks of that, then I'll sit and write actual word for word the whole bit so that I have it on paper and can recognize it. And PD really, again, I owe a lot of kind of my learning to PD and kind of some advice he's given me. But he's like, you got to write it out so you can see it and kind of develop it from there in written format as opposed to just like, oh, I heard it. And then I'm trying to base it off of what I remember hearing myself say.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Petey's great. He's real good.
Yeah, Petey helped me.
I think he searches for his name on these podcasts too.
Oh, for sure.
He helped me when I was getting the show started too. Like I came to him, I was like, hey, I want to put a show together. And I was like, I'm going to come to you with a ton of questions. He's like, yeah, cool, whatever. Yeah. And everything I asked him, he's like, oh, you should try this or be aware of this or that. And I feel like it's been successful so far. So
yeah, that's what we should ask somebody who's done it for long. Like, why try to figure it all out blind when you could ask?
Yeah, and it's not like I'm like saying, hey, do my homework for me. It's like, hey, I've thought about this. Here's my thought. What's your feedback? Like, I'm not coming to him for answers. I'm coming to him for like advice on conclusions I've already kind of come to, but maybe I should see it a different way.
Yeah, and I mean, and he wants it. He wants you doing it. Like that's, if you listen to the Cody and PD episode, they're like, that's the best thing newer comics can do is run a show. That's like, instead of just being like me, like create a thing.
Yeah,
that puts other people up there.
That was kind of the antithesis. Like I'm very reluctant because I know I'm still young and early to be the guy like, hey, can I be on your show? Can I do your thing? Like I know I should do it more because I kind of have afforded myself the credit and how hard I work, but I also am just reluctant to be that person. So I was like, let me just put my own show together. I can give myself the time that I want and then also help bring up those around me that I think also deserve those longer set spots that maybe aren't getting them at other, shows around town and whatnot. Yeah. And it's just overall intent is to be helpful to the community.
Yeah, because bookers have like the people they like to work with. So if you have like 1 or 2 people running shows, that sucks because it's just what their taste is. And you get people that never get a shot to do more than 5. So
exactly.
Yeah, the more people running shows, the better.
I do like that you've been bringing comics from Charlotte up more, because that's like my one thing. Like I tell people, like I feel like the Charlotte scene doesn't really move around a lot.
Yeah.
From my experience, like the comics I talk to, they pretty much just stay in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Or they go up to like Winston-Salem on Mondays, but they won't even like go down to Greenville on like Thursdays and do like what's that?
The Comedy Zone.
The Comedy Zone.
I've been meaning to go. I still haven't done that.
I still haven't done it either. I hear it's great. I go to Coffee.
Yeah.
That's good because you meet so many. I feel like Coffee, it's like some people who are not in the scene don't know, like, it's kind of dipped recently. So you still can get some comics coming up from like Columbia or even down from Tennessee sometimes to do that. I still think it's great, but the Greenville has like really been like, don't come. They're like, don't come. There's nothing going on. It's like, it's a good hang. Like you get all the comics there. And it's like any other open mic, Sometimes you'll get a full crowd. Sometimes it'll be like nobody. But I feel like when it's nobody, it's more fun because then you just have people like do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's how I feel about like a root night where it's just 8 comics and a bartender. It's like, well, let's try some new shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just mess around. And sometimes that's more fun than Wednesdays.
Right.
Not usually, but sometimes.
Yeah.
There's the freedom.
I would
in,
never describe root as fun. It's to me, it's more like a. I'm gonna go survive root.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do root. I'm never gonna be like I'm gonna go kill at root. I'm gonna try to handle this divorced 21-year-old who is currently outside getting high, going into Heckle, grabbing a Coors Light, then going right back out.
Divorced 21-year-old.
That's a real person I've met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a divorced like 27-year-old, but that's a lot later.
Oh man. The storied life you must have.
Oh yeah.
Almost as storied as this building.
a brand new building.
Full of stories. Real Flowers of Algernon.
Oh, you meant
got
because
going
there's
on?
Books.
I'm just trying to work in Flowers of Algernon.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
really just
weird.
trying to make it work.
Where did you like just
It's gonna work.
see that somewhere recently?
It's
like
gonna work.
I don't
Have
even know
faith.
what Flowers of Algernon is.
Read a book.
I read books. I read like
Read Flowers
Malcolm
of Algernon.
Gladwell and like self-help type shit.
oh yeah, you like the nonfiction?
Yeah.
It's that goal oriented.
Yeah. The Tipping Point, 10,000
hustle.
hours.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stephen Pressfield's The War of Art.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that's what I mostly read for like 10 years, and now I'm getting back into fiction again, like just in the last couple of years. I feel like fiction can do things that nonfiction can't do, like talking about just like integrity or, family, stuff like that. Yeah.
I like Kurt Vonnegut a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got a great, because I think all of his books have like this nihilistic sense of humor to them,
Yeah.
like built in, and I just find myself like kind of just being. It feels like I'm on board with whatever's going on. Like I kind of get where everybody's coming from, and I'm like, yeah, that's how it should end out. And it's usually with like, the world being bombed or things just not working out that well. But it's like, they had fun. It's all about having fun.
Yeah, I think I get reading fiction can help your stand up, or that's my hope.
Yeah.
I don't think anything in that capacity helps mine because I draw off of so many life experiences. It's more so just like self-reflection and like what happened to me that was really traumatic that I can try to bring light to.
Right. Okay. So you like to dig into the
Yeah, like
the real shit.
At least in my case, that's kind of where I draw a lot of my inspiration for writing.
Yeah.
So it's like really like sitting and like self-reflecting on like what can I draw out and bring humor out of that the average person would just think is like, oh, I need to forget that immediately, or I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, there's so many ways to get there. That's what's interesting. I love Mitch Hedberg talking about candy, and I love a good vulnerable trauma bit if it's got punchlines in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's cool how it can be so many different things.
Yeah, not just dumping. Okay. So we having a setup and a punchline.
You take way more
Like
dumps on stage than I do.
I take so many dumps on stage. Man, I'm a dumper. I take a hot dump on stage. I treat that stage like it's a Coachella bathroom. Just hogging it.
It's always changing though. Like I feel like I'm at a real time now where I'm just like kind of hate everything I've done, and I just don't want to do any of it again or be the kind of stand-up I've been. Like that, I'll feel that way every few years. Just want to like be done with that guy and those jokes.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm kind of feel like I'm looking for the next thing now. I'll do my like act if I have a longer show out of town, but I'm not really.
Well, going back to like counting your reps, haven't I heard you say before like, oh, you did 100 reps sitting on the stool? Because when I first met you, you were always getting on stage, kind of standing for about 30 seconds and then sitting on the stool. And then I heard you say like, oh, I'm done doing that. I did that for 100 sets to see how it went, and then on to the next thing.
Yeah, I always try to change it, but then I wonder if that's bad too. I was just like the stool just start working, and I'll be like, all right, let's do some other shit.
How do you feel about the stool?
I need to get back on the stool. It's a good reminder.
Get back on the
it's like,
stool.
I think it's like
Keep yourself grounded.
Anything to not be just another fucking bearded cis.
Or if there's no stool, you just sit on the ground.
Yeah,
just sit on the ground, do your jokes.
I feel like I can be kind of anxious and kind of like talk too much and too fast, and I think the stool encourages me to pause, slow down.
I don't feel like my jokes hit as good when I'm sitting down though, because I feel like with my material, my whole thing, it's like I need the audience to be scared. I need them to feel like I could jump at you at any moment. Like I need you to pay attention, because if I'm just like this calm guy telling the jokes I tell, people are gonna be like, oh no, we're not. I don't like this at all. There's, It
would be. I can't imagine you sitting down. I would like to see that.
People wouldn't root for it for sure.
Yeah.
The only time I've done anything close to sitting down was in Australia. I had this joke. I was having a terrible set, and in the background there's like a lounge couch. And what I did was a joke did really bad. I was like, okay, guys, so I guess we're just doing this for the next 2 minutes. And I just laid down on the couch and faced my back towards the audience, just pulled out my notes pad and told the rest of my jokes. And that actually did better than all my set before.
Yeah, it's like some kind of performance art type thing at that point. Or
sure, yeah. I think they're just sick of seeing me.
Yeah.
I think they like the material. They just didn't like my attitude.
The front of your head.
Yeah, pretty much what I got going on.
Were you at Tubac a few weeks ago when Christine rolled herself up in the carpet and did that?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The performative aspect of it definitely gets the crowd like, oh, this is completely different than anything else
Christine's
we're
insane. I mean, she brings a suitcase full of props on stage every week, and God, I love her for it. But it's not like, sometimes I'll see comics, and I'll be like, I can't watch this person because, like, I can't. It sounds a little selfish, but it's like I can't learn anything from this because it's not anything close to what I want to do what I'm doing. Like, I love that they're doing it, but I just, like, I can't even, like, take anything away from it.
Yeah.
Or feel like if I do, I'll, like, take the wrong things and I'll become too confident.
But don't you think it kind of helps to be like, I'm definitely not that? Like, that kind of helps you get clear on what you are when you go, I don't want to be that. That almost can kind of, I feel like seeing things where I'm like,
Yes, but it's not even, but it's like, because I think there's, like, she's still, like, a great comic, and I still, like, admire what she does. So I'm worried that, like, if I watch that, it's definitely like it's like an OCD thing for sure, but it's like if I keep watching that, I'm gonna be like paranoid, like, should I do something like that? Because I love, like, what she does is fantastic and amazing and, like, so different, but I don't know if I could take anything, like, same thing with, like, Leah Garth.
Yeah.
Like, when I watch Leah, I'm like, I don't even know what the joke was, but I'm laughing.
I think you're a little like Leah Garth.
I was going to say the same thing.
I was going to say that when you just came in the room and you're like, hey, what's going on in here? Blah, blah, blah. Flowers of Algernon, flowers of Algernon. I was like, this is the most similar to Leah Garth that I've done a podcast with.
Is this why you didn't let me
That's
in
a compliment.
Home?
That's a compliment.
This is why we're in the library? Not even in the shed.
The shed's coming. I was saying that
Let's shed some skin in the shed.
Being at home, as much as I want to do the podcast, has become a little problematic for the family.
Let me around your kids, Ryan. Let me get rowdy with the kids. Let me get. Come on, don't look down. I'll go to your house.
No.
I'll see your kids.
No, you got
Uncle Ben.
500 feet.
I'm America's favorite nephew, Uncle Ben. Shake your hand. Call your daughter's young man. I don't know.
It's a son.
What?
I have a son.
You have a son?
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
No, 500 feet,
So
buddy.
you won't even confuse it. 500 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they'll love me from afar. They'll idolize me because they can't get near me.
Stop calling my son a they.
I'm like Moses with the tablets on the mountaintop. I'd be like, I love what that guy's doing, but I can't get close. Father won't allow it. Oh, man.
There's something I want to circle back. We were talking about, like, somebody being on the ground, rolling themselves up on a carpet, you know?
Yeah.
So I do this thing where I watch comedy with the sound down sometimes. Like, I watch, like, the Richard Pryor, like, over and over with the sound down. There's the special that's on Netflix. I forget which one it is. He gets down on the ground, like, 5 times in it.
Really?
Like, if you watch it, it's like he just keeps getting down on the ground. I mean, his jokes are amazing. His life is amazing. But he's doing, if you watch, like, Bugs Bunny with the sound down and Richard Pryor with the sound down, it's, like, pretty similar. There's a lot. It's like, I never realized how much physical stuff is happening.
Older comedy is surprisingly more physical than, like, more recent stand-up, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, which is odd because it's like, you know, because I compare it to, like, sports sometimes when I'm watching stand-up, because, like, I feel like stand-up's like it's like a contact sport where it's like you have to be ready for the hit. You have to cringe up and be ready at all times, because if you're relaxed, you're just gonna get the wind knocked out of you. And so if you go up and you're ready for, like, anything that happens in the audience, you know, you can, like, respond to it. Or if they're not reading something, or if they're, like, you know, if someone heckles, like, I have things ready, like, because I'm not quick like that. So, like, if someone heckles, I'll be like, don't tap the glass, or that's my number one fan. It follows me everywhere, But it's like I feel it, anyway. It's odd because like I don't know. I compare it to like sports because back then it's like you see the football players. It's like they move in slow motion. And so you think it's like, everybody back then was like super sick. Like their bones started hurting at like 40 years old or whatever. And it's like they're smoking cigarettes and they don't have like any energy, like they don't have anything left in their lungs. And you don't think they'd be that physical. But I feel like with comedy, because like they kind of have to make up for the fact that it's like, it's just like, mouth entertainment. Like they're only talking, and people weren't like adjusted to that. Yeah, because stand-up was still like kind of new. So they kind of had to be more physical to act it out.
Yeah, like it came out of vaudeville or whatever, so it was more like magic and jokes. But I think now maybe like life is just more virtual and cerebral. Maybe we're just more able to sit there and just hear.
I'm really proud of myself
words.
that I looped that back around.
I didn't feel like I thought we were.
I was so lost.
I was like, this is
halfway through. I was
now
like, this
talking about,
like I don't like this is a bad comparison. Yeah. And I was like, I found a way.
I feel like I recognize when they're using that movement for their own like cadence and like pacing, like pacing specifically. Like I remember Eddie Murphy, Delirious with the tight red leather. The whole first 10 minutes, he's just pacing the whole stage back and forth. Yeah. Just talking about like gay people looking at his ass in his tight pants. And then Cat Williams, I just watched Cat's newest special. He does the same thing pretty instinctively through many of his stand-up specials. He'll pace the whole crowd and like hit a punchline over here, walk back, hit a punchline over here, and like it's part of his cadence.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's the good stuff I like to talk about on this because I think we all notice different things. So it's interesting to see that because I liked Cat's special too, but I hadn't thought about that. It's almost like the tiger, kind of like pacing back and forth.
And keeping the whole room engaged. I mean, they're doing those in theaters, but I mean, a lot of our sets are on like a 6x6. Box
I still
like
always
that.
mean to like get around, and then I never do, and I'm always just like in like a few foot radius.
I'll find myself turning body language to a set part of the crowd, and then when I feel what part is the warmest, I just hone in there, and then just kind of like, you guys weren't giving me the love I needed, so now they're getting all of the attention. Kinda
focus
like
on what the people that are digging it instead of the ones that aren't.
Yeah.
I just move like a sprinkler because I don't make any eye contact. I make zero eye contact with the audience.
Just
I stare
automated
straight ahead
in
at the
advance.
wall. I'm like, all right, I've been here for a while. Time to move here. Time to move here. Back over here. Here. And that's how I measure it out. Like I don't even look at. I can hear who's enjoying like the set or not, but I refuse to look down and see what's going on. That will freak me out.
Yeah, I was always big on eye contact, and I finally got there where I was doing a lot of it. But then I kind of have heard recently that it can almost be too confrontational, and that kind of fucked me up. That somebody's like, when you look at somebody, maybe it's like you look at some nice lady and they feel like you're pressuring them to laugh. So now I'm starting to feel like maybe I shouldn't look. I'm still kind of figuring out like.
Right.
How much should you stare into people's eyes when you're up there, like?
Yeah.
And then you don't want to do it when you say some weird thing, some like weird sexual thing, and then
I think it's great when you do that. I love that.
I always hone in on doing
Fire
that.
freak flag more. Let it out. That's what I do. Whenever I say something like really jarring, I'll look at someone and be like, eh?
Yeah. I think you can probably it's weird, like what you can get away with, like figuring out what's off-putting, what's toxic, and what works for you.
What's like eye contact on stage is like swearing. Like if you keep swearing throughout the set, it kind of loses all people stop caring anymore. It loses all emotion.
Oversaturate it.
Yeah, but if you like pick a moment to like drop an F-bomb, people are like, whoa, like they react to it more. For me, it's the same thing with eye contact. Like if I make eye contact, I'm doing it on purpose.
Yeah, like you have a few deliberate ones that you say.
Exactly. Yeah. Huh. I look right back up. It's enough of that. Enough of you. Show's about me. Should I remind the audience?
I mix on like eye contact and then just above the headline, So like they think you're making eye contact with someone behind them, but there's no one back there. It's just me like thinking through the next thing I have to say.
You're like a magician. A social magician.
Okay.
You're like, look at somebody and they yawn. It's like, you ever have that happen?
No, but I would hate for that because
people usually
I would end up yawning on stage.
I'm just curious.
No, people are usually like, again, like hot or cold on me. Like if they don't like me, they'll walk out of the room. I'm not someone, I don't feel like I've ever been someone like people stick around to be like, we'll sit through to watch the next comic. People are either like loving it or they're like, no, we're out of here.
People are like,
Grab the
I don't like.
keys.
Oh yeah, I don't want to be at the show anymore.
Yeah,
like,
grab the
when
keys
it's-
before he follows
they
us
don't-
off the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Leah Garth. It's the same, you know. People are either like, yes, finally, or they're like, yeah, it's time to go. This is. I hate comedy now.
Yeah. I hate comedy now.
The first time I saw Leah, I didn't get it. And then I heard Blaine, the next time she was at Disclaimer, tell the audience, like, hey, this is going to be interesting. Give it a minute.
Yeah.
And then I got it. Like, because he said that, I was like, oh, now I get it. She's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and it can
Oh,
it can
yeah.
definitely go either way, but I think that's part of it. And I don't know, she was on here, and she's a very smart, thoughtful person, and I don't think she scans that way.
I was telling you that last time I saw you.
That was we talked about that.
Yeah.
And I was kind of surprised too. Not that I thought she wasn't, but I was surprised how much like depth there was.
Well,
there
she lets everything out at once. That's why. It's because she'll talk about like, like I was living at home and I was like, I was having sex with my landlord's son, and then she'll throw out some
it's like
smart
the same-
reference like the flowers of Algernon.
Yeah.
She'll probably get my.
I don't
jokes
think I've heard
more.
her say that one.
Well, she's it's all up in here. She doesn't get to let everything out because her filter's so fast. But she'll throw like an intelligent thing like out every once in a while.
You ever sit next to her in the audience?
Like, no.
just can't not make the whole.
I see
sounds.
Lee and I keep my distance, observe from afar, much like your son with me.
I was
I'm a secret admirer.
I was recording a bit at Disclaimer one time, and I had just gotten to the point where I was comfortable with it and thought it was doing well. I set my camera up on that stage up there that we sit on sometimes, and right when I hit the final punchline, it was like a reference to my kid sharing some Teddy Grahams with me. You just hear Leah in the background. Oh, hell yeah, I love Teddy Grahams. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah,
That would have been postable.
just ruined my clip.
It's all
Audience
good, though.
member loves Teddy Grahams. Audience member destroys comic for with love of Teddy Grahams. You hate to hear it. Happens to the best of us, and sometimes us. So happens to you.
Where are you going?
I don't know.
Okay.
Wherever, man. This is a trip. This is the home planet.
Yeah, we can go anywhere.
Yeah, we can go anywhere we want. Travel with me. Grab a map. No, leave it behind. No,
Yeah,
come with me.
no
Grab my
maps.
hand.
No maps.
Bring your son. I'm trying to get this son thing going on.
All right. Is it because how I introduce you at the show?
You're never nice. Say that. Never flattering.
So the show was on parenting last month, and when I brought Ben up, I was like, all right, everyone so far has been a parent. These next two comedians are not parents. To be honest, I don't know if this guy's ever ejaculated inside a woman. And he's like, what the hell? You said your mom's going to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you for all intents and purposes, you have not. You practice safe sex.
Yeah, for all intensive purposes.
Intents and purposes.
Intents and purposes, yep.
It's getting gross. It's getting gross out here.
Told you to grab my hand. This is what happens when he goes off on his own little mission.
You're the one talking about traveling.
All right.
All right.
Let's
Yep. Back to the host.
I would think that's
back to the host.
like the accent.
What a great! What are you, Andy Richter? The worst sidekick of all time.
Whose sidekick am I?
I don't know.
But you just referenced the greatest
you're your
sidekick
own
of all
man.
time when you said
Is
that.
Andy the greatest? Andy's alright. Andy's
mean-
pretty good for sidekicks. I guess.
Yeah,
he's pretty
sidekick
good.
is even
You know, what
being
can
the
you say
best at
about a
it.
sidekick?
Still not
I'm partial to Hannibal Buress on the Eric Andre show.
okay.
Yeah, but that's not like a real show.
But it is. It's its own thing.
Hannibal's
man.
a sidekick on a show.
Yeah,
He was-
he's a sidekick on the.
It's
Eric
Felipe
Andre show,
Esparza
yeah.
now, but on the Eric Andre show.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
You guys need another drink or anything?
I'm good.
Good.
My heart is thumping like crazy from this Red Bull. I feel like my hand's been shaking for the past 10 minutes.
I was gripping the wheel on the way here, rocking it down. The traffic was a bit of a hog today. So everybody's going wee all the way home.
Did you drive from Charlotte?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I left way early, so I didn't catch
Good
too
for
much.
you.
He's that goal-oriented, think ahead, planner type.
I was sitting over there.
I saw
doing
you when I
emails.
came in. I
Yeah.
just like setting up. I'm like, all right, I'm going to be set up at the
Just
time he
reading up on the
notices.
pod.
I was doing emails. I listened to your episode with Jess Cooley on the way here.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good one. Jess is, probably like the best I've seen anyone get like real fast, real good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Moira too. I don't know if y'all saw Moira. She was here.
I knew Moira a little bit.
Didn't really come out a lot during the last time.
I saw Moira a few times.
Just like both of them kind of started right after me and just got so fucking funny so fast with like material and
I started a few months before Moira left. So just like the last maybe 3 months or so before Philly.
Yeah, I need to get her on here when she comes back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of starting out and
it's the Corey Day Show. All right.
I like it. It's a lot of pressure to have to
Corey,
keep it moving.
What's your next
starting
question?
out and seeing people like improve, and we were talking about that earlier, like from the first time you saw me come out to like kind of the last time you saw me at.
Oh boy, you're gonna ask me to comment on your progress?
I can take it. Where do you think like progress has grown, or like
how good has he gotten?
You were only this good then, and you're only that good now still.
When will he be your favorite, Ryan?
I think you're doing great. I don't know. Man, commenting on others' progress on the pod. This is a new one. I'm like, what's the question? Like,
from the first time you saw me to, I guess, like now or the most recent, have you noticed like progress?
Yeah.
Like stage presence, delivery, things like that.
Steadily improving. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, that's how I feel like it's been for me. I think is this slow, steady progress, and I think that's maybe even that's what I relate to, and I think maybe that's even arguably better for the long term than if you get really you're getting booked on every show in your first year. I think that can almost be like, how do you follow yourself?
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the people I've seen do that have come from like the fringes of society, like they come from some place where it's just not. They just scan to the audience as something that the audience has never seen before.
Yeah.
Like a 6'1.5" tall trans woman, or like, I mean, Jess just has something that's very otherworldly.
Mm-hmm.
He looks more normal now with the shaved head and the t-shirt, but he used to look very odd too.
Yeah, I've seen
very weird,
pictures,
like the blonde hair and stuff. I think you're doing great. I think you're like thinking about it right. It's interesting to hear more about your process. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen you that much recently too.
Yeah,
I feel like if I've been seeing you every week for the last few months, I would have it fresh. But it's kind of like a lot of it kind of just fades.
You and all of Charlotte.
Just trying to remember where I was at like a year, 6 months ago was kind of blurry. So I don't know that I could really comment on anyone's like,
Fair enough.
Stuff like that. But
well, now do me.
I do feel like I've let you down in some way.
No.
I like that you were like,
I put you in the fire.
And I got excited that I heard it. I was like, shit.
Now do me and use different words.
Pretentious.
The hell? I know my value.
Pretentious. What does pretentious mean? It means like
everything we were describing
like
about him
contrived,
earlier.
Like it's almost like fake, word. Right? Like I think
it's a big 20. That's a $20 word you're throwing at here.
You seem authentically super weird. I don't think pretentious almost seems like it's contrived to me.
Man, big words all around.
Yeah,
love it.
Algernon.
Got to read that book.
The roses of.
You'll never get
flowers.
You'll never catch up. You'll never be the next big thing like me and all my learned fans. I don't want fans.
There's certain questions I always freeze up on. Like people will be like, sometimes be like, "What should I be doing?" or comment on me, and I'm always like, "Ugh." And then sometimes people will be like, "Who's your favorite comedian or band?" And it's the same. I'm like, "Ugh." It's like I don't know. It's hard to.
I froze up on Dante's podcast when I got like the top 5 list.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I am such a comedy nerd, and I have been since I was like 12 years old. Like to give a top 5 is like very subjective in the moment. I know I'm going to beat myself up as soon as I give this list.
Oh, this might be good. What was your most recent favorite special that you saw come out?
The most recent,
I said it right.
Famous.
Don't
special?
think about it.
The Cat Williams one that I referenced a few minutes
ago. That was good.
The Cat Williams one.
Yeah.
Wasn't a huge fan. I liked it, but I thought like I don't know. Like I think. Well, that's the thing is like nothing. Once you see like someone do like their magnum opus, like I think his Atlanta special from like the early 2000s or whatever. I don't think he can really top that. So that's why I guess I was being unfair about it. Like I wasn't just judging it, but
it was recorded live, right? Wasn't it like a live Netflix?
Yeah, it came out live. Yeah. But I think when they finally released it, they edited some stuff out.
They did with Chris Rocks as
Yeah,
well.
with Chris
Oh, really?
He-
So if
he
you watched
flubbed-
it live, it was a little different than.
Yeah, he flubbed the line, so if you watched it after like the first week, they edited it out.
Oh.
I think
But
they,
his wasn't like a stand up. Like Chris Rock's, it just felt like like he was just preaching how he felt.
yeah. They just announced they're going to do a Rogan live one on Netflix, I think August 3rd, something like that.
Because he hasn't put out a special in like 10 years or something.
Rogan?
Right? Yeah, right?
Like 3 or so.
Oh, really? I thought it was
Yeah.
like almost like 10. Like, I never have really, I haven't seen any of his specials.
I think the last one was
But-
right at the beginning of Biden's presidency.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
I
We'll have to
so
fact- we'll have to fact check that later.
a question I like to ask is kind of random, but when you go to a show, sometimes you like stand in the meet and greet line, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A question I always like to ask, because I've been to like 20, 30 headliner shows where I would do that back in like my 20s, would be like, what, if you could say it, is your Mona Lisa, and or do you think you've even painted it yet to like a stand-up? Like Bert would be like, oh, the machine. Like, do you think you've gotten your best bit out of your art, like as an artist, or do you think you're still working towards it?
Do you really ask people that?
I've asked it a few times.
You ask people what's your Mona Lisa? Excuse me, what's your Mona Lisa?
Do you think you
It seemed funny until you said it back to it. Now you guys should start a podcast.
Yeah.
do you think you've done your best piece of
Opposite.
art as an artist?
Yeah.
You think you've contributed?
I think I have.
Because I feel like how could you ever say yes? Because doesn't that mean you should just quit?
I know.
That's
I'm
kind of the
done.
basis of the question.
Yeah, it's like-
Yeah.
I'm just treading water. The Shrek's mom bit is really just keeping my head above the tide.
Oh,
at
you guys
the
don't feel
moment.
like you've cracked it in a yearish? Like you haven't
Yeah.
I'm done. I've been on 2 model face shows, so I've peaked.
when I
I'm
said
out of here.
when I
I've
said
got my
earlier
credits.
at Mike's, you do like a few new minutes and then like 2 minutes of it's always the Shrek bit. You,
It's always,
you always
the Shrek
close
bit.
with the Shrek
I hate
bit.
it so much. Hate that bit. It's really become a curse.
I got into that with some of my better bits too, where like I flog myself after doing it on stage. I'm like, I want to get away
Yeah.
from that bit.
You just
I
feel like the
know-
geek at the fair, where it's
Yeah.
like you just throw another live chicken at me, I'll bite the head off, and the people cheer and they laugh. But you're sad on the inside
Yeah.
because you just do the same thing every night. Every night, I kiss my mom like Shrek. Every night, I say that.
Yeah.
I say that to thunderous applause.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel like I was trying to get booked out of town and get more longer sets. But then after you do the same 30, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I'm not really, it is like it gets, I don't like saying the same things. That's what I like about this podcast is it's always new shit every time.
Yeah.
Like, so it's, I'm kind of challenged with that. Like, how do you build an act if you don't want to keep
Yeah.
saying it over and over
Well,
again?
it's just. I mean, building an act's just like a podcast. They can't all be great. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you put out like a solo episode.
It would have been until you got here running into the room sweaty.
It's gotten good.
Those are the ones that
The star power has entered the room.
You know there's a camera, right? You literally have your back to it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna look at it. I want people to see my face.
All right. Fair
It's
enough.
like the Australian podcast show where it's just people want to see the back of your head.
People want to see the back of my head. That's right. People love the back of my head. That's where used to be. I would show people the back of my head when I didn't want them to see like I was balding, and now I'm starting to get the crown up here.
Yeah.
There's no hiding anymore.
You just got to accept it.
There's
You're not
no-
trying any desperate like chemicals up there.
Yeah,
are
I'm
you?
not trying to put on flat brim hats to hide my hair. I'm just kind of owning it.
I have great hair, sir.
Mhm.
You do. You have like a nice, super thick. Yeah, I mean that's.
Touch it. Very reluctantly touched it. It's clean, man. I showered today.
I don't like this at all.
Yeah, it's good for you. It's good looking man.
Good for you. Don't touch me. Get away. You can look, but you can't touch.
So, when I moved, I went through like kind of a writer's block. Like, I wanted to show good face when I got over there, so I was doing some of my better stuff. And then I got to a point
Charlotte?
when I moved over to Charlotte, which was, we're recording here middle of July. I moved in beginning of April. So for like a month and a half, like I was having such a hard time writing new stuff because A, I didn't want to put out a bad face while I'm meeting new people and trying to network and stuff. And B, like, because I was just going over those same bits that I was kind of depressed I was even doing again on stage week after week. I was like, man, there's nothing, the muse isn't here right now because I'm like wrapped up in trying to do well at this and meet new people and not look like I'm horrible at this.
Yeah.
And I finally got it, but it was rough for like probably the first month and a half, 2 months.
That's how it felt coming from Australia back to Asheville. Because like, I've been doing this material already for like so long. You know, I don't want to keep saying the same stuff, and you know, people are gonna get tired. I'm like, oh wait, no, these people have never heard it before, and so I just go up on stage and do. I'm like, oh, I've got another 3 months of shelf life of like, you know, good face before people realize I've fooled them with these already worked out bits that I've been doing, and now it's catching up to me, and I have nothing.
But I love it when I can hear a comic do the same bits over and over and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm kind of jealous of that, where people can still seem 100% into it.
Well, yeah.
Because for me, it almost kind of just, it's hard to keep the feeling of it. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not really like trying to make it as a professional comedian too. So it's like having fun and exploring art is kind of the goal. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys, do you want to be like a touring nationally? Like, what do you think? Are you just enjoying this now, or what is the end game?
I'm trying to be reasonable with my goals, but like I do have in my joke book, like I want to get paid to go to like headliner clubs, whether I'm headlining or middling or something like that. Like I want to be invited to like a Helium and like a Funny Bone and stuff like that. Like acknowledge and receive recognition for the art on at least a regional scale, ideally like somewhat national scale, but I don't have any grandeur of like being on Netflix or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like that might come when I'm 10 years in, and then I'm like looking at my goals for the future at that point. But right now it's like pushing as hard as I can just to get some relative respect in the space.
You're more of a Tubi comic.
Okay.
What do you mean okay?
Is there stand-up on Tubi?
Yeah, there's stand-up on
really?
Tubi.
Is it old? I feel like everything...
It's like what they put on like American Airlines.
Okay.
You know, it's like that same stuff. But you got to say
Bob
American...
Saget or something?
Yeah, like that. I got to say,
Rest
though,
in
American
peace.
Airlines has been putting out some good specials lately. I don't know if... Like, I think my favorite special I've seen recently... One of my favorite specials I've seen is Sam Campbell. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's like an Australian comic. And he filmed his special, I think, in Sydney in like 2022 or something like that.
But American Airlines put it up.
American Airlines put it up, yeah. It was good. I mean, it's free on YouTube, but it's also just like American Airlines just had it as like one of their premiere. I was like, oh, they're just, you know, it's like they'll just put anything up on the screen to keep you dumb for like the 7-hour flight. But it was a great special. So it's that, and they've got a few others I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but they had Flight of the Conchords, which they released on American Airlines before they put it on Max. Like, and it was like a full live.
Yeah,
it was live. It was like the London, like it was a whole big thing, and they put it on American Airlines first before they released it on streaming. So that was interesting.
Yeah,
but, yeah. They got the people. They got it good.
In Australia, is it the same, or is just like tons of young people going out to mics just grappling for the spots? Just is it? It's
the same. I'd say
Sydney. You're in Sydney.
Yeah, you'd think for how big the city was that they'd have a lot of mics, but they really didn't. Like,
okay. Not as much as here. Then.
Yeah, no, even not as much as Charlotte. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't have as many. They don't have that many mics in Sydney. Like they maybe had like 3-4 a week, and like they just started getting more mics. Like when I first got there, it was probably only 3 mics a week.
Yeah.
So they're building it. I guess they're built, you know, like any scene, like it ebbs and flows or whatever. So I was there when it started to ebb again. But I guess like staying up there isn't as, I don't know if it's not as big or whatever, but it's just not, you know, comedy's kind of like America's thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Australia, maybe it's more sketch, or I'm not sure what it was, but not as many mics as you think for like a big like metropolitan city as Sydney is.
I mean, that seems better to me because that's part of the thing that's just more discouraging, and I'm kind of trying to pivot now that I'm coming up on a decade of like, what am I? Like, just the amount of just every year, it's like more younger people with more time just like moving to Austin, just grappling. I'll do it for free.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I know that I've like achieved success in my career and things by being like, well, what's rare and valuable? I'll get good at that, like do computer software stuff. But there's just so many people doing stand-up. So there's a lot of people that are just good at it. It's only more. So it's like, to me, I'm kind of taking a step back now and being like, how, I'm 45 now. So it's like, what am I trying to enjoy with it? Like, I love doing this podcast. This is fun for me. But as far as like trying to just compete to get in all those spots, it's like each year it just becomes like the math becomes harder. And I find that really discouraging. It's like, I thought it was peaking when I started like 9 years ago, like Louis C.K. and all that. I was like, it's peaking and it'll go back down like it did in the 90s, but it just seems to be.
Yeah, social medias keep like pushing it back up.
It's become the culture. It's like, it's kind of the main,
which
like
means
rock stars are kind of like.
People are going to get sick of it pretty fast, I feel like.
I hope so. It'd be nice if it went back down because it's just so many fucking people.
That side of it's something I hate too, because there's these people that come up and a little bit younger than me or even my age, but know how to like put together a TikTok account and like get a following there. And I spent my 20s like kind of hyper focusing like Larry David style and getting off of social media and living in the moment and things like that.
So you can have a good life.
And now I'm trying to pursue this. I'm like, man, that really sucks that I don't know how to put a reel up.
Yeah. And then now it's like even like a year ago, like the reels. I mean, now it's just, it's exponentially. So the amount of like horrible stand-up reels, it's like, I don't even post like stand-up reels really anymore.
I barely do.
The podcast ones seem like they're a little more interesting, but I think that's probably going to be, everyone's going to find an easy way to do that at some point too. So it's like,
I don't want a digital footprint yet of this.
Yeah.
Because there's still time for me to pull the chute and get out. But this is like, I guess the first big like, thing that's going to be on the internet of me saying I do stand up.
Yeah.
And it's real flowers of Algernon. Yes.
I think it's going pretty good.
It's going good. I like it. I'm enjoying it. Having a good time. Not as on as I like to be.
It's not going to be as
25 minutes before you got here when
Those are good episodes. I will say that.
Me talking to myself in my shed, that's what people really want. This is just kind of extra bonus feature stuff.
That's what we really. That's what we're
when Cody comes on, it's like this is a bonus kind of shit.
Whatever.
So who would you say were like? Sorry, I'm taking your job.
No.
Who would you say is like your early stand-up influences? Like when you first started getting into stand-up, who are the people that you're like, oh, I love this person?
Oh my god!
Not that you want to do.
Are you asking me who are my guys?
Not necessarily
that's a
like
Mark Maron
I'm not
question.
asking your top 5. I'm saying who got you entranced in the art.
Probably like Dan Cummins.
I love Dan Cummins. I saw him in Charlotte.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him recently. I liked his older, like one of my favorite albums is like Chinese Affection, like stuff that he was putting out when he was like still doing cocaine and in the middle of a failing marriage, and now he's gotten all happy and he has his little summer camp and it's like not for this. It's not really. People get happier. It's real detriment to the art form. But,
I love his cafeteria bit.
Yeah,
here come the spoons, motherfucker.
Yeah, Dan Cummins, Chad Daniels.
Love Chad.
Yeah, I guess those types of people. I don't want to. Everybody says
Chad's clean, right? Isn't he?
No, Chad's dirty.
I'm maybe thinking of a different guy.
But yeah, I want to say everybody says Louis. But like, yeah, he was like. When I saw his I was going through Comedy Central and I saw him doing like the he has this bit about airplanes.
The terrorist?
Yeah. No. It was the one where it's like he's on the plane and it's like, hey guys, we have Wi-Fi for the first time,
Oh, Louis,
yeah, Louis, yeah, that guy. Yeah. And
that was the viral clip that like really blew him up.
Yeah.
He's on the couch on Conan, right?
No, this was just him doing stand-up on Comedy Central during. Okay. Well, he was probably doing a bit like on the couch, but like he was doing one of his specials, and it was like that bit about like having Wi-Fi in the plane for the first time, and then the Wi-Fi got it's like it got immediately taken away. It's like, sorry guys, and the guy next to him was going like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like right now, he has his laptop open, he's trying to do work, and he's like, "I can't believe this. This is unreal." And Louis like, "You just got this. Yeah. How can you be mad about something that you didn't know you had?
You're on a chair in the sky."
Exactly. Yeah. It's going up to space.
Yeah.
Is going up to space not fast enough for you?
What about you? So, you started later. You started at like 34, 35, but were you already like a comedy nerd per se? Like,
I don't think I've ever been a comedy nerd. I kind of like the things I like a lot, and then I don't really try to like get into all of it. Like for me, comedy is probably like Conan O'Brien on The Simpsons in the 90s, and then the people that would come on Conan's show. But as far as like stand-ups go, Louis was huge when I started. So that was like, you just can't deny it. I think Chappelle is just, I love his pacing and just relaxed, like Miles Davis.
Chappelle was mine.
Delivery, yeah.
The killing them softly.
Patrice. Norm Macdonald's probably my all-time favorite.
Yeah, Norm's like the king.
I think he's just, I just love it.
I didn't get into Norm until, that's the thing about,
because he would come on Conan and do those long rambling stories, because the show was always about to get canceled, so he just come on and just talk. And that was kind of the first time I was like that. I just, I just love it, He talks weird.
What was it? Swedish German Andy Richter. Like, just throwing like these old like bits from the 20s, and just tell them like just tell them like they're his own stories. Yeah,
and he was doing a Weekend Update with like one-liner type stuff, and then he'd do these long rambling Shaggy Dog stories, and that kind of gave me a sense of the range of what it could be. You know?
Him and Jim Downey were like two of the greatest writers on SNL at that time. I feel like, especially like it goes probably Norm, Jim Downey, and then like I don't know, John Mulaney, probably like my top 3 SNL writers of all time.
Love Mulaney. Yeah. Everybody. Has anybody ever been like, fuck John Mulaney? He's not good at stand-up.
I just made my wife listen to the Salt and Pepper Diner bit like last week.
Yeah.
She like reluctantly has to listen to stand-up, because I'm like, oh, this has been in my head from something I heard 7 years ago, and I want to go back to it, just like a song or something like that. But for me, it's just like stand-up bits on Spotify.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed by because I like I've been listening to like a lot of smaller comics, I guess. Like I've been watching their specials, like a lot of New York, Chicago comics who are like just putting out like their first specials. Like I really enjoy watching those, because it's like, it's a little more attainable, because they're filming it in like a bar or room, like,
and they're not like, I feel like the bro like Austin, it's like it's all like about like car collections, and there's so celebrity that now that it's like kind of off-putting to me, like all the cold plunges, tank. It's just like, it's not even real life that they're talking about a lot of the time. Well, that's more a podcast,
right? Well, it's these open micers who like just blow up immediately, and it's like, of course they're not ready to like do the Comedy Zone, but their stardom has like surpassed their talent at this point. So now they're like, they can do it if they want.
I remember watching a lot of those like that you were mentioning when they were on their like first album or first like Kyle Kinane, Matt Bronger, when they were just coming out of Chicago, Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah, Kyle was a big one, but like now,
I love Kumail.
Yeah, like Tom Takar, now like Bob Condon. Like these are the comics now are like coming out of Chicago and moving to New York and LA and like getting bigger, but like they're just putting like Takar Noir, I think, is like one of the better specials that's come out this year. But again, it's like his first album, and it's like, he's only done open mic. He's only done comedy. He's only done stand up, so doesn't have that.
Is that dog shit?
Well, it could be
it's like it's mold.
It's like
I thought you were full of dog shit.
I walked here. That's why I was late. I'm lying. I don't have a car.
Give him a ride back.
I got repossessed after coming back from the Odd, having a bad set.
Yeah. Jason Reel came to Charlotte a few weeks back.
Oh,
and
no.
We went to get food after his set, and I parked on street parking, and he parked in a parking lot, like at a Family Dollar, and he's like, it'll be fine. And then he had a boot on it when we got out. So he's like, oh, can I stay at your house tonight? I'm like, well, what are you going to do tomorrow? He's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Let me go figure it out.
Maybe somebody will just take the boot off during the night.
And he goes to pay his ticket, and he's like, come up with something else that's not a Trump impression, and we'll take the boot off your car.
Well, he's like, oh.
It's like,
the Trump impression. How do we feel about doing Trump impressions?
Oh, it's so good. I love it for him. Yeah. He's having fun with it.
He's like, I drove 2 hours. I drove 2 hours. I just paid for a meal, and I have to pay $250 to fucking drive home.
Yeah, that
it's like, oh, it
sucks.
sucks,
Yeah.
buddy.
At least it didn't get towed. That's slightly worse.
Yeah. At least he, like, I mean, the guy must have just done it like 5 minutes before, because he called the number and the dude just like swung around within 30 seconds.
Yeah, just waiting around the corner.
Yeah.
So you guys watch a lot of specials? Do you make a point to watch like specials every week or every month? Or
People, if someone I like has a special coming out, I'll watch that. But I don't make a point of it. Like, but I'll get it like really excited when a comic I really like is about to. Like,
same.
Mike Racine put out like a new special. I love that guy. He was a big. I think he had like 2 appearances on Conan, and he's just such a like socially he's like kind of more of an awkward guy. But his like he has genius writing, but the thing with like his jokes is that they're really good, but he doesn't know how to end them. So most of his jokes just end with him going like, "Am I right?"
I think that can be all right. Like it's almost like having the big laugh at the end is such the normal pattern. To deviate from that can be its own sort of joke.
I mean, it is all right because he does have a fan. I mean, he's not a star, but he has a fan base.
Yeah, it's working for him.
Yeah, he's supporting a family off it. So
I have like a threshold. Like if I have too high of an expectation or like really like a comic too much, I won't want to watch their special. Like Kat, I've known forever, but I've never been like super
like you're worried
into
you'll
Kat.
be let down.
Exactly.
By it?
Yeah. So I like to listen to people I know a little bit about, but like want to see more. But if it's like I don't really watch like the Joe Rogan specials or the Tom Segura specials anymore because I get enough of them through like podcasts or whatever other mediums. Right. It's like seeing their special is going to be maybe somewhat of a letdown.
And how much do you want one person's voice in your head too?
Yeah.
I feel like you got to be careful. Like you start sounding like them. That
too. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm very diligent to not like kind of speak in another voice like that. Like I've been cognizant of that since I started, but I know it's also a good thing to kind of idolize and go after a little bit of that as you're getting started to get your own stage presence built. So you're not just like a schmuck on stage. Like at least take something from Mattel or something like that to get your own footing.
Yeah, he's good to steal from.
Like if I ever
Classic. I think I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Not Shane Gillis. Don't steal from Shane Gillis right now.
Shane Gillis,
it's too.
You can't get away with
much.
it.
Yeah.
It's too open mic.
I feel like that he's the one. The Trump impression is just his right now, and it's kind of hard to not be like doing an impression of Shane, which isn't fair, but it just feels that way a little bit to me.
I just listened to you with Jess, and you were saying you don't ever watch Kill Tony, but just the episode that came out yesterday was Shane as Trump, like in full like costume,
and,
like yesterday,
and Andy Ray, Adam Ray as Biden.
Ray.
The episode, I'm like halfway through with it. It is killer.
I might have to check that out. That sounds just,
I only watched it,
and it's just like this week with the fucking. I don't want to talk about the
year,
but it's it might be kind of interesting.
Well, they shoot it a few weeks ahead of time, so this
so
this was prior to that even occurring. It's not referenced at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. With music, I kind of like outsider art a lot too, like Daniel Johnston, people like that that are kind of. I kind of almost like when people don't know too much about the art form, or maybe that part of that's my own laziness and the amount of time I have now too. And just hanging out with you guys and being aware of just how much everybody seems to have their pulse on what's happening. I'm like, I just can't even. I don't have the time for that.
I love that so much. One of my like Bobby Condon, the guy I was talking about, he filmed a special in front of his whole extended family. Like he did 2 takes, one for an actual audience and one for his extended family, and he switches back and forth.
Yeah.
And he has bits that like do not like he'll show that like with not landing with his family, and then like him yelling at his cousins for like heckling. I'm like, shut up. This is an album recording.
I love that.
What are you doing right now?
That's because I wanted to kind of record my own thing. I don't even know if it's worth it now because there's so many YouTube specials coming out. But something like that, instead of trying to go get something on a big stage and it's kind of like an amateur attempt at something that feels authentic, to do something like that, like Maria Bamford has a special. Where I
was going to bring that up.
It's like that's kind of a cool for us to do. Try to just embrace the fact that you're not big time and do some weird shit like that.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think more comics should play in clubs. Like, I feel like, I don't know if you saw Mark Norman's most recent special. Soup Nuts.
I just don't get it, man. I just do not get Mark Norman.
It's not my favorite, but I do
Obviously,
like it.
he's great because everybody loves him.
But they put him in a theater, and it's like the guy's a club. He's a club comic.
yeah.
Because like because he's the same. Like he's kind of the same way where it's like he'll like do little juts and moves.
Yeah.
Which goes great if you're in a small room.
Yeah.
But you don't catch it all when you're like in a huge theater.
Yeah, he's not Cat Williams. Like, he's not a tiger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not a whole performance. It's him doing his little jokes.
I just don't even think like I don't like to see band like the Gray Eagle in this town is like once you get to the Orange Peel, it's almost like it's hard to. I'm looking at the screen more than the stage, and I feel like comedy is just kind of. That's the nice thing about being small time is I think the music hall on Wednesday feels more like the kind of show I want to be at than being in like a stadium. I don't want to see comedy in a stadium. I mean, like Kevin Hart's amazing, but it's like I just don't want to. It's too big.
Yeah, you just did. I mean, if you could do it, why not?
Yeah,
that's
and
cool.
he's doing it, and he's doing very well.
Yeah. He's doing. I would never say anything bad. Yeah. I would never say anything bad about Kevin Hart. I love that guy, but
you could probably get him on here at some point.
Yeah, he's just a big get. You should do that.
I had been to back when I was in college. They had Oddball Festival, which was like an outdoor venue. Like they played the amphitheater in Tampa, right across from the casino. Mm-hmm. It's like forget what it seats, maybe close to 10,000 or so. I could be wrong, but it was a like 7-hour show. Like they had Big J hosting like a music stage on the outside, but like doing stuff. And then there was like 8 or 9 headliners, like Aziz Ansari, Amy Schumer, like a bunch. And it was just like too much. Like I much prefer like a dark club room and seeing the same person in a more intimate setting. That you'll get me to that show 10,000 more %.
Yeah.
That ever go into like a huge like I mean I'll go to a theater if it's like the thing to go do for like a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah, like I saw Chappelle at the whatever it's called now, Thomas Wolfe, like our theater, and I mean that was incredible. It was bigger than I wanted it to be, but it felt small for him. Yeah, so I enjoyed it a lot. But I don't know. I guess having said that, I've never actually been to see comedy in a stadium, so I'm just like judging it without having done it. So maybe it actually is like transcendent to be 20,000 people watching Bert. I mean, it doesn't seem like. And how much does that cost? And the parking and it's like, all right, babe, we're dropping $1,000.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, at that
insane.
point, you're just cheering for the personality, though.
Yeah,
I feel like you bought the ticket because you like the person rather than like you're not so excited.
The brand,
the brand, exactly. Yeah.
If I can't buy the merch from you directly or your feature act working the table, then like I'm not going to go stand in line and let some stadium worker sell me a $35
Gotta
t-shirt.
ask somebody else about the Mona Lisa. Dude that you don't receive them.
Excuse me, who do I talk to about the Mona Lisa?
Should have never said that.
Put
Can
me
I
in
write
that
down
direction.
my Mona Lisa question?
I want to get so famous, people like you can't approach me and ask me about the Mona Lisa. I don't want fans. I want fanatics.
What if they ask you about fucking Thorns of Gilgamesh?
Oh, I won't even let them. They're not even going to be allowed to look my way. I want people who are scared to approach me. See, I don't want people to know me. I'm going to stay a closed door. No one's getting in here.
You remember when I said pretentious?
No. Hold on.
I can see it now.
No. Hold on. I have a good reason for this. See, who is I'm going to go on a little tangent here. But who do you think is the let's say the greatest EDM music group of all time? Not the best, but the greatest.
Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, that's right. Punk. Yeah. The greatest director of all time.
I'm not good with trivia.
Stanley Kubrick. Greatest contemporary artist. Banksy. You want to know why? Because they never let themselves be known, okay? They have an aura of mystery around them. And that's the thing with me is that I don't want to be touched by the common. I don't want people to see how the sausage is made. I want people to look at the final product. I don't want to see people to I don't want to be vulnerable and be real and be relatable. I want to be out. I want to put my work out there for the people to admire and watch and pay for and line up. There's no place for them to ask me about, is this your Mona Lisa? Because everything I do is my greatest piece of work, okay?
Then why are you not doing your stand-up with a mask on now?
I wear a mask all the time. You think this is me? You don't know me. This is just who I present as. I wear a mask all the time. I want people. I don't want to play in a theater. I want to perform in a temple, a ziggurat, if you will. made by my fans for my one-man performance. And I'll talk for like 30 minutes and then leave, and people will clamor and tear the place down.
We should have just done this with Jimmy Smith.
That felt insane.
I do need to get Jimmy Smith on here. Now I'm like, I got to get
somebody else. Somebody's not talking about ziggurats.
No, I think it's great. I was just thinking, it's Leah Garth. I mean, you're like Leah, but you're not. But you're not like Leah. I mean, your approach to comedy, I think, is like Leah, but you as a person are not like Leah.
Okay.
You know, but it's just like it feels like you could just go. You could just go forever.
I could take off.
Saying crazy shit. Like when you said you came back from Australia and you're like, oh, thank God they're going to think it's new, but I've said it before. I'm like, It feels like it's always just what happened today. You feel like, I don't know.
I bring the energy of what happened today, but like I can't come up with anything new.
I think it's good to be a weirdo, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, Sully was sitting right there and I was saying that to him. I'm like, I don't know. I think it's just good to be weird. Like, you know, you just walk up and you just got it's like a singular kind of, I think we're probably just more like regular dudes, you know? So it's like you gotta start talking, and I think you kind of like, I like to just say things on here that I will regret later.
Yeah.
You know? Like start labeling people things, but you're just a weirdo.
That's all I've been
I think it's
doing.
great. I think it's wonderful. I think that's like really a very valuable asset.
I probably think I'm that weirdo more than other people around me do.
And you are
I'll,
inside. I just mean
Yeah.
like maybe how we might scan, or I don't feel like I scan as a weirdo just walking down the street. I think I look pretty normal.
I'll like find myself like in social settings, like I'll come mingle over here and then I'll feel like I like overdid it, so then I'll go sit by myself for like 20 minutes and like recharge.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm not recharging for me, I'm recharging for the people around me that I just drained their batteries of. And then I was talking to my therapist and she's like, that's all in your head, that's no one else.
Yeah.
is.
I think that's all in all of our heads, right? I think that's
Yeah.
what everybody feels probably. It's like some just really medium social anxiety, just like the normal amount.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if you had less than that, you'd be like a sociopath or something. Like
Yeah, it's like a reasonable humbleness to like, you don't need to be in everyone's face all the time.
Yeah, do you guys struggle with that? Like the narcissism of comedy, you
No.
know? Like being like,
I keep it in check.
just the idea. Like that's kind of why I like this, is I feel like it is kind of good for my karma.
Yeah.
You know, to try to create content that is not just about like me. Like I think there are times where I wake up in the morning. You asked about the morning. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning and feel like I'm too much of a narcissist or something. Like
I don't know. I feel like like a healthy amount of self-love is good. Like I feel like you should, like a rule I have is like you should be like your own best friend. You know, like that should be like the baseline of like to build yourself up from who you are. Because if you don't like being around yourself, then no one's gonna like to be around you.
yeah. Do you like yourself?
Most days. You know, today, after what I just said, I'm not a huge fan.
Do you believe
that
him
was
that he likes
crazy?
himself? Do you think he has a lot of self-love?
No,
hell?
no, you do not project that you
don't
care
project.
about
Oh my
yourself at all.
But it's all that. It's the mystery. You know, you're creating.
It's all coming out.
You say the thing.
I'm a
you're
mystery to
not.
myself.
It's like a cloak of.
I'm like a riddle
layers.
inside an enigma.
So maybe
Your
it's
glasses
part
just
of the-
fogged up and you won't
Circle
even
within
wipe
a
them.
spot. Did I? Glasses just fogged up. I'm hot. I'm on.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think about like? Do you like as far as like how much you know? Are you up there because you're trying to get validation, or are you up there because you do love yourself and you think you're great, or like what? Where do you?
I come from like a fair level of self-deprecation, so like I recognize and understand who I am, and I can kind of court that to my advantage. But I don't really ever think too highly of myself, while simultaneously like I know I can do well. Like, so I have a high level of self-esteem, but I also don't think I'm like better than anyone else or like doing anything like significantly like, you know, above and beyond others. Like I have to work hard to get where I want to be and to do it. And I have to have a level of self-confidence to even put myself in those positions. So I feel like I manage it all pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about how I feel too.
Well, good.
Oh shit! It's 5 o'clock. We gotta
wrapping
get
it
this
up.
room up.
Okay.
That's like a good place to end, though. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I hope this was good.
I think it was good.
I think it was good.
I feel like we really got there in the last hour, so I'll probably chop off some of the beginning.
This
I feel
was
like
at least interesting to listen to. I hope I did that. I don't know if this was fun to listen to on my end, but I hope it was at least made a little interesting. You know? You can cut that out.
It was.
No,
it was
I
good.
had fun.
It was good.
I don't know if what I said was fun, though. See, we went over. That's the problem. We got to put it up. It went over my time.
I kind of want to just let you keep going for another. It's like ended on a Leo Garth thing.
I'm
now.
waiting for the light.
Check out It's Happening, stand-up comedy showcase at One World Brewing the third Friday of every month. We have a topic every time, and you can come check out some free live comedy. I'm going to start incorporating open mic into the back end of the showcase show. So
cool.
come check it out.
Put some links down there in the description.
Yeah.
And I've got a show August 30th at Crisp, and that's it.
Hell yeah. Crisp is fun.
Crisp is fun.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming. Bye.
Bye.